funny one to start. Whenever it comes up in conversation, like, your dad lives in New Zealand and you live here. Aye. It's just one of those things, you know. So when I was a kid, my parents had split up quite early. When I was about 3 or something. I don't really remember living with my dad as a kid. And like about 95, he moved to New Zealand and he only went for 6 months visa thing. At the time, Shotley Bridge Hospital had closed and my stepmom Ali, she was a registered nurse there, and you know, massive hospital shit, do you know what I mean? And they were crying out for nurses in New Zealand. So she took that chance. My dad tagged along, his business, he had sold his business and stuff like that. They gave it a go in Auckland. I went over there, just visit with them. Very busy city, Auckland. I remember getting there and going from Auckland all the way down to Mott. So by the time I went over, they were already looking to move to the South Island. And the announcement that Sam was coming, you know, Sam Elliott fell pregnant, and it's kind of saying that, you know, like they could either come back there and, you know, raise Sam here or give it a go, and they've given it all a go, and you've got to really stand up and give them a round of applause because of what they've created and what they've built. So I'd been over a few times, and at different ages and different ages of technology and stuff like that, it was always different. Especially England was always a bit ahead, especially when you look at it from a kid's point of view. And then I went back to New Zealand in 2010 and I had a blast, and I didn't want it to be 10 years. I didn't plan it to be in 10 years, and I wanted to go back sooner. And I almost sat down and did this about 2 weeks before I went to New Zealand, and I'm glad I didn't. You know, I was going to sit down, I was going to go right, this, that, the other, and I was going to try and plan ahead. Now this essentially is a prologue to Welcome to the Land of the Long White Cloud, that it's going to be called. And it's not like I'm not going to appear in the show you're going to get this full interview at the start, rambling on, then shit's going to hit the fan. But I will pop up with funny stories, but instead of sitting down there and wondering what if going forward and then trying to, you know, plan it and trying to capitalise on the fact that my family's there, my brothers are older, I'm going with Brittany and I'm going to go back to these places, and the old footage was fresh enough in my mind anyway to revisit this. So I was like, right, okay. And I decided to do the Steve Monkey Mason 2020 promo, which I had a lot of fun doing, and everyone was like, what the fuck, it's so creepy. But again, 2020 is, to me personally, looking forward and looking at stuff completely different, going ahead, shaking stuff up, doing stuff different. And I was happy to laugh like that. So when I went to New Zealand, I had a mountain of footage, edited, rendered, mastered, enough to bring out while I was away. And come back and then go straight into it. Now 10 years ago I went to New Zealand and I came back and I decided to make Killing the Boredom, and Killing the Boredom really snowballed. It went from being a film that again hasn't been released. It's like that new John Malkovich film, the film you may commercially never see, but it exists. I'm proud of it. There's a rant there down in the deep inside the chambers of my brain of why the movie didn't eventually come out, but that's basically the New Zealand footage got like put on the back burner because I knew then the New Zealand footage didn't fit with what Killing the Boredom was. And when third parties got involved in the right way, can you either like split the movie up and make two movies because people are greedy as fuck. The idea of doing another movie called This Is Just Life snowballed into a show, 24 episodes, 75 people interviewed for it. Just like this, cut in, and you know, you interview somebody and the interviews are 40 minutes long, and then you've got to divide that up, and then you've got to send it off, then you've got to try and get it to balance with whatever they're talking about and create characters and contents and keep it up and going. It takes a long time. So it was approximately 5 years before anyone seen any of the New Zealand footage in any shape or form, even myself. And I vowed to myself this time I wasn't going to do that. And again, that's another reason I didn't want to sit down and do a what if interview. You know, so New Zealand, it passed. My dad had came over because I had a whirlwind romance. My dad came over for my ceremony, which was great to see him. So he'd been over. Unfortunately, the following year, my granddad passed away. My dad had to come back from New Zealand again. And we had a massive falling out when he came over from New Zealand. And a lot of that was sorted out when he came back. I felt a lot more closer to my dad, and a lot of stuff sorted out. You know, we had time away. And that footage has never been seen. A lot of that footage of that time in your life just not there. Just it's there, but it's just never been like showcased and stuff like that. I didn't want to. So my dad had been over, and then about a year and a half later, Sam appeared over here, and we did a lot of footage with Sam. A lot. So we sat down, we did a double interview. We planned ahead stuff that we were going to do and stuff like that. Gally was living with us at the time. We had a great blast. He went to stay with Gally and stuff in Scotland. And again, it was a funny time for me personally, but the footage just got, again, it got stuck on the back burner because of other projects now. In Evil Hours music video was made about that time, but we were always wanting to do more with it. And again, when someone lives on the other side of the world, it's fucking hard to do stuff like that, you know what I mean? But that project is stalled, which I think is going to get resurrected into this show somehow in some ways, especially when Sam appears. I'm not trying to spoil any of the content coming with the New Zealand footage, but I'm extremely happy how it's turned out. But yeah, Sam came over, then my stepmom Ali was right here. Like 6 months ago she had turned up, and going back to New Zealand couldn't have been any better, but I never wanted to be 10 years. In fact, about 3 years ago I tested the water at work, and I asked about it, and sort of, yeah, it was always positive, but it was very like unsure, because I work in it full time. I'm a full time employee of HMV, and the shop's open 9 to 9 through the week, open every 7 days a week, you know, and we've got to put our holidays in April to next April. But you've got to put them in April. It's not like Bell, when Bell will be like, "You want to give him a pool, Bell?" And be like, yeah, I'll check a half day in. What? But again, you run a business, you know, you need to have everything in place, so the cover's always there, and I understand that. Now the thing is, if I want to go away for a month, it's like, right, okay, you're going to put your holidays in, and you're going to be missing for a full month. And again, you can understand that from other point of view, and you want it to be like, all right, everyone gets the time. So I inquired about it, and it looked doable. The sacrifice I would have to make would be in the February leading up to the April. I would have to say I want to go away next February, a year away, and I would have to literally hold my holidays. So I would essentially have to work for a full year. So like, you know, especially going into Christmas and stuff like that. So I kind of sort of went, right, if I go in February, I can, you know, it's not like I've gone to New Zealand and come back now. I mean, it was like I would have to work a full year, and also take it like a sabbatical in a way. So I was going to go. My mum, who I love travelling with my mum. She's funny, very characteristics of me. She's very quick-witty, and she's very kind as well. And I love spending that much time with her, and it's awesome. It's fucking surreal when like you stand on the other side of the world, me and mum and dad, and they're not together. And haven't been for 30 years, but you find yourself in this limbo. But my mum was like, all right, I'll help you book the flights, we'll get you over there, you have some good times and stuff like that. And it was going all right. I'd put in like the idea at work, and the holidays had been approved. at the time I was trying to buy a house. It was getting a bit complicated, and I wasn't feeling well. Now, with the house and my failing relationship at the time, New Zealand was never fully confirmed. The money was there, the time was there, the provisional flights were booked and stuff like that, but it just was slowly becoming a no-no. And then a couple of things happened. One, HMV went in administration. If I was going to New Zealand still at that time, there's a chance that I was not coming back to a job. It was so surreal. I decided not to go in late December, which was a bit of disappointment for everyone because I expected to see it in February. I decided to try and get my life back on track a bit, just a little bit. And I sort of was on the right track. HMV came through administration. We've got a new great owner and stuff like that. The house I was having problems with trying to buy from a landlord. He was a fucking prick. Like, sorry, but you are. I'd met Britt at this point, which was, cool. I was building a foundation with Brittany as well. But I wasn't feeling great. So, it was almost like deja vu. Went to the manager for the third time. Can I go to New Zealand? February. And yeah, it got booked. And it came up so quickly. My mum was like, right, I can go now here this year. I'm coming. Then Brittany just was like, well, I'll come. And again, this is early on in me and Brittany's relationship. And we booked to go to New Zealand. So yeah, I would have to work for a full year. And I started not to feel great. I was trying to hide it quite a bit. And it shows you how strong me and Brittany have come, because it was Brittany who went, you need to go and see a doctor. And I was not, I wasn't well. And I had to go for prostate exams, and I had a really big cancer scare. And I'd sort of pushed myself into a corner that I wasn't going to be going to New Zealand. I wasn't going to be seeing far ahead. I wasn't like reckless or anything. I just proper went. I was in a lot of pain. And I went and I'd drive to the hospital, and that's waiting for your name and waiting to go in and waiting for them to look you in the eye and go, okay. That felt longer than a 17-hour flight to fucking Dubai to New Zealand. And the news was good. I mean, again, I had to take a lot of medication, and I've had to be very careful with diet and stuff. And there's a story coming in New Zealand about this. I was like, right, New Zealand, let's go rock and roll, and let's just have some fun. And that's what welcome to the land of the long white cloud is. It's getting to the point of going, ready, you go to New Zealand, I've got nothing to worry about when it comes to film. I've wiped everything. It's the first time in life I'm in no contract or anything like that, and it's totally freedom to me to do what I want to do and make it how I want to make it, because like it's going to be like a random vlogging, it's going to be review randoms, it's going to be retro VHS, it's going to be stories, it's going to have some old footage mixed in, it's going to have a lot of elements that already exist on the channel, but it's just going to be told and like just watch it. When it comes out, there'll be nothing else. This will come first prior to it coming out. The trailer's going to drop today, and then there's no rush, there's no schedule. You're just going to see the trip quite raw, and just out there. Not in 5 fucking years. because you never know what's going to happen. And I think a lot of it is about loving life and just, you know, looking to the future. And yeah, so this is like the prologue story of, you know, it's not, I didn't want, like, the plan was to sit down and reminisce and talk and then go to New Zealand and go, right, and I didn't want to do that. I just fucking went and had the best time of my life. And I'm sitting here right now and buzzing to share the footage with everyone. So yeah, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, keep your eye out for the videos. They'll not be too far behind this. They're really coming together quite quirky. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you soon.
Rich and the famous, the star of the show. So take our heroes and your possessions and start a fire and burn them all. This is 21st century love, and this love is getting worse. This is 21st century love, and this love is a curse. This is the year of hope and the glory, the end of the story.